What's up, y'all? Happy Thursday. We got a late start today because y'all know what this Saturday is. Yes, besides Georgia and Florida, it's your girl's birthday. So make sure y'all send me a little happy birthday, on the first. You know what I'm saying? I drop my cash app later. But we finna get into it. It is almost November. Whoop, whoop. So it's coming down to the wire for college football. Still about 38 so teams that's coming in. And then we're going to jump into the NFL and really talk about the updates on our teams and see who got that early MVP vote. So let's go ahead and insert the lab. What's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing this evening?
What's up?
What's good? Week 9. We getting through these weeks.
I know. Before we know it, football's gonna be over, and I'm gonna have a boring offseason.
Don't say that. Oh Lord, don't say that.
We waited all this time, and now it's coming up, and it's coming up quick. But we still got a lot of excitement. We still got things that we need to sit over here and basically cover. So let's jump in and let's start with the good old CFP. This CFP season has been very interesting and very intriguing. I think with the addition of these 12 teams going into the playoffs, we are seeing some teams that we never thought we'll see before. I know one of the games that I was just kind of like, this is crazy looking at it. You have an undefeated Navy that's taken on a 7-1 University of North Texas. Shout out to the Mean Green. I have several people that I'm cool with and friends with who actually went to the University of North Texas. So shout out to UNT up there in Denton, Texas. Y'all are putting on a show and they're making their case to get put into the college football playoffs. So let's go ahead and jump into some of these college football jobs. Rumor has it that Mr. Franklin is probably going to be the next head coach over there at Virginia Tech. If the rumor mill is true, let's start there. What do you guys think about that? And see him, this is a guy from your old division, your old conference. But what do you think about this hire going to Virginia Tech for James Franklin?
If everything, holds well, I think that it'll be a good move for them. He definitely has a very good resume. He'll be in the ACC, and with him kind of being in that Pennsylvania area, that's not too far from Virginia, so he should have a good lay of the land there a little bit. But I'm kind of surprised. I would kind of think that he may hold out a little bit because there's a lot of job openings, and we're seeing that a lot of the coaches, a lot of the guys that we thought might be the premier candidates for some of these jobs are getting locked up. We're seeing a Cignetti get an extension from Indiana. We're seeing Matt Rule get an extension from Nebraska. So some of these names that we thought were going to be kind of on the market and hot names during this next coaching carousel are being taken off the market. So some of these guys, like a James Franklin, can find themselves, if they wait, possibly right back at the front of the line for some, these great jobs. But if he, decides that, he wants to take this Virginia Tech job, feels comfortable with it, hey, go ahead, do it. Take your job, collect a couple checks from a couple different great institutions and do your thing. But it's going to be, again, interesting to see how this coaching carousel turns.
Definitely. Snugs, what you think about think about this if it is true that James Franklin is taking on this Virginia Tech job?
Well, I mean, first, hello everybody again, and happy early birthday. But then secondly, I want to say, if the rumor is true, I'm happy it's not Florida. So with that said, no, honestly, the one, when I first saw it, the first couple of things that I thought of was like, the rumor probably kind of makes a little bit of like maybe true, because I mean, it's a good match, because I think we all need to be kind of honest. I don't think there would be a really big name school that would, bring him in right away. Obviously, you don't usually really see that happen. And not that Virginia Tech isn't, but you guys know what I mean. I just don't think one of those like really big of the big openings that I think were there. I don't know if they would have went that route. And this feels like a good, this isn't like going all the way down to like, some like no name school. It's, you're kind of back, a little bit here, get yourself together again, a couple of recruiting classes. I'm sure he'll get another shot, another big school. But I mean, I think it's a good hire. I mean, I think, but yeah, but when I first saw it, though, those were kind of my thoughts. So I could see it actually being real if it ends up happening.
My thoughts on it, I'll be honest with you. My thoughts on it is if Virginia Tech decided to make this move, they're trying to get a jump on the recruiting class. You got a lot of the recruits are dropping from Penn State as we speak. So that's kind of bad news for Penn State. But if you can find if most of those guys were there because of James Franklin, you get a Virginia Tech school. Gotta look at it. Virginia Tech is like not a bad school. They had good college play over the course of the years. They kind of kept their name in rotation, but I understand why they decided to, because the ACC is wide open right now. So when we're looking at it, you get James in here, kind of get some of those 4 or 5 stars coming to Virginia Tech. He gets to run the same system he's kind of was running over there at Penn State. Probably coach a couple of those coaches, maybe see about some coaches that are staying there, kind of keep that intact and build on there. You go right into next season already a top contender. So
I have a little pushback for you, Snugs, on James Franklin and a big school not bringing him in. Not because I don't disagree with you, but kind of the way I see it, kind of things are kind of shaking out now. Again, we take 3 or 4 of those big names off of the market, and we have a couple of big names, kind of big fish left, in the pool. But we have like 5 or 6 big jobs. So, Oklahoma State. I mean, obviously can't go to a Penn State. Maybe you say sound like you don't want them at Florida. Maybe not at LSU, but an Oklahoma State. You know what I mean? An Arkansas. I could see a guy like James Franklin going there, and I bring his name.
Arkansas already have their coach though.
Who's their? I'm sorry. Who's their coach?
What is that? Petrino. They already got their coach because he fired half of everybody. So yeah,
let me cross them off my list. My bad. I wasn't up to snuff. Let me cross them off the list. But the reason I asked that is because I've heard that Brian Kelly's name has been kind of linked, and this is just a rumor mill, to the Penn State job. So what to me kind of, I hear your pushback about Franklin going to another job. What's the difference, or what's the distinction in your guys' eyes, or in your eyes, Snuggles, between a guy like Franklin or Kelly, or you don't think Kelly should get a high profile job as well?
I mean, I think you can point to maybe a little bit more success. I mean, probably mainly more when he was at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But I kind of what you said at the end. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to be lining up necessarily to give Brian Kelly a really huge opportunity.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean? Because and when you mentioned before, like when you mentioned Arkansas and Oklahoma State, when I hear those schools, to me, I'm putting those, and I'm not saying like as far as like they're like things like that, but I'm saying as far as like maybe a job wise, they're how much of a difference tier are they to Virginia Tech?
No, and I agree with you.
Right. You know what I mean? So, and that's kind of what I meant. So, but yeah, but I think Brian Kelly, unless I think he kind of made some bad waves there over at LSU. Again, that's another guy I would be surprised if a really big school brought him in. At least right away. And I could be wrong. Could be wrong.
No. I mean, I agree with you early when you're saying about the big schools. You're not going to see a Florida, a LSU, maybe even the Penn State that are going to jump out there and go get a brand new coach. I mean, you got Penn State who had James Franklin there for 10 years. I feel like they'll risk losing a recruiting class to actually find the guy so they don't have to do this again. LSU. They fired Orgeron. They got Brian Kelly in there, and they haven't done anything since. LSU is a powerhouse school. LSU produces talent, and which some of that talent is in the NFL now. You know what I'm saying? You got Jettis, you got Neighbors, you got Chase, you got Joey Burrow, you got top names coming out of LSU. Even though I think their governor was playing, and I hope he was playing when he said to let Trump pick, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Grab the wheel, Jesus.
Yeah, grab it. But no, at the same token, it's like they're waiting on that situation to kind of fold itself to find that right coach. They might lose out on a recruiting class, but that is same thing with Snook School, Florida. How many coaches y'all had in the past? What, 8 years? About 4?
Yeah, three. I think
Yeah.
that 3 I can think of for sure.
Yeah, so it's a coaching carousel in Florida. They're looking for the right. When you're looking at a Georgia, and I hate to put my school out there, but when you're looking at a Georgia and you got a Kirby Smart, you're not going to think Kirby Smart is going to get fired here in the next 3 or 4 years. You're not looking at it like that. Same thing when Nick Saban had Alabama. You weren't looking at Nick Saban getting fired. You were waiting for what he did, retire. So that's what a lot of schools are doing and are trying to really kind of pick up on that. They want to win and there's an opportunity for them to win. But when you're looking at some of these top name schools, they're really taking a look at themselves in the mirror right now, trying to find out what guy actually works for them.
No.
So I'm glad you guys brought that up. Let's take a look real quick. I don't want to pivot too far, but before we get too far into this conversation, with some of the jobs that are open, I kind of put together kind of my opinion of a tier list. I want to see kind of how you guys feel about it. And I just throw a couple of names out there, some schools and tiers. First tier of top tier, I have Florida, LSU, and Penn State. Those are like, to me, like the top echelon openings here. Now tier 2, I have Oklahoma State. I had to cross Arkansas off. You guys said that job is already filled. And Virginia Tech. Who else would you put into that, like that tier 2 opening? Or do we have any more tier 2 openings?
Nah.
I think eventually the FSU coach is going to get fired.
Okay. So now, Snicks, are you putting them tier 2 because you think they're a tier 2 program, or is that just your rival over there? You said it real.
You caught me. No, I'm just joking.
No, ain't even fired yet. You just.
Yeah, the semi-holes. No. They would be popping back up there. But I just thought of them thinking of, because I was trying to think of like another tier 2 school, so I started going by state, and then they obviously when I got to Florida immediately, I thought of FSU because I knew obviously us, and then I knew wasn't getting rid of Cristobal. So, but I'm trying to think like, but FSU, but I mean that would be a very attractive job, obviously. But another good tier 2 school, I'm trying to think who else is like kind of on the hot seat who's been let go.
Now most of the schools, I mean, you have UAB. That was there. You have Colorado State.
Okay, let's just keep
the group of 5. Yeah, mainly the group of 5.
Right there with those.
Power 4.
Let's keep it there with those 5 teams that we have. We have Florida State, LSU, Penn State. Then we have Oklahoma State and Virginia Tech. Now, in this small little pool, because like we said, we talked about the guys who are no longer, who we think are no longer, open for these jobs right now, or the right job hasn't come open. Marcus Freeman also allegedly said no to a couple of jobs as well. Apparently he's open to only the Ohio State job, maybe. Now we have 2 guys who seem to be kind of the golden goose of this whole coaching carousel search: Dan Lanning and Lane Kiffin. Okay, so
Danny Dan ain't leaving Oregon. That's too much money up there to leave.
I was going to ask you, if those 2 guys decided to change addresses, would those 2 jobs now become top tier jobs? I think Oregon for sure would be a top tier job.
Oregon. Ole Miss, no.
I was going to ask you.
Ole Miss would go into your tier 2 category. Oregon for sure. But I would love either one of those guys at Florida.
Okay.
We already know Florida didn't offer the package to Lane. We already know that.
Yeah, like now we're cooking. Like I would love either one of those guys, but for sure, Oregon would definitely be tier 1, man. 100%. Yeah.
They definitely will.
And we must notice that Lane has been one of the few high-profile coaches whose name has come up in a lot of these searches, and he has yet to get that extension from his team. So Lane is just smiling on TV. Every time I see Lane, he just smiling.
But the thing is, I don't think they. So here's the issue with Lane Kiffin. Here's the issue with Mr. Lane. A lot of people didn't want Lane Kiffin at first. They did. A lot of people didn't want him at first. But now he's a hot commodity. But here's the issue. You already got something cooking at Ole Miss. This ain't a shot at you either, Snook, but you
No,
already
I
got
get
something
it.
cooking like at Ole Miss. Seriously. And if you do make a jump to Florida, you're gonna do, in a sense, what Deion Sanders did at Colorado. You're going to poach some of that team because you're going to pull some of your players that you already know and trust
Oh,
from
for
Ole
sure.
Miss over to Florida. And then the thing about it is that messes with what you guys got because y'all have a good defense. Florida has a good
Yes.
defense. Lane will love that defense, but I know he wants to add probably a little bit more to it. But I just don't see him moving something that he already has situated and that can jump and make a winning move. They're literally almost penciled in to go to the college football playoffs. Literally.
So
So it's just kind of puts that in perspective. It's like, does he want to start over? Or does he want to keep the continuity that he already has? That's the question.
let me ask you this, both this, because you guys are both SEC aficionados, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at Lane, I see a great coach. When I look at that Mississippi job, I see him doing a great job there. But at the same time, I don't know how deep the pockets are of the alumni. I don't know how excited,
That's
I'm
the
saying,
thing.
those guys are and what limitations they may have as a program. So yeah, he's got them there this year. In the last couple of years, they look like they're very competitive, but they still ain't won no I ain't seen them win no SEC championship. I ain't seen them win no national championship. So if there's a job possibly that is open where Lang sees himself going and maybe overcoming whatever, if he feels that there's some challenges there at Mississippi and there's another job there possibly where he can overcome those challenges, I think that Lane may be, ambitious enough to kind of seek that opportunity out. Now, if he feels strongly about where he is, and fine, you know what I'm saying. But I think Lane may move. You know what I mean? I think he may. And again, and to him to
I'll
make
be
a move,
shocked.
and for him to make a move in the SEC, it wouldn't surprise me because he knows the lay of the land. He's been there. You know what I'm saying? He's coached with some of the best, and he's seen how these teams operate for years. So it wouldn't surprise me if a LSU or Florida, two teams who I feel like, and I don't know the situation in terms of their, their leadership and the donors and NIL and all that stuff, but I feel like those are two very, very, very storied programs, very, very, very excited about, their programs, who I think will be extremely excited if Lane came there and put all their resources in kind of getting, their programs back to the top. So I think that's why Lane ain't signed that extensive. If it was all good out there, Oxford, Mississippi, why he ain't signed no paperwork?
I mean, listen, I didn't know this part of the segment was going to shatter my dreams, so I may have to go off camera for a little bit and get my tissues.
I'm sorry.
But no, and listen, I completely understand, what the thought process of you have something cooking there at Ole Miss. But this kind of goes back. I don't know if we were talking about it on the show, or maybe it's just been talked about in a a space or just a conversation I've had. But like, also at the same exact time, yeah, you could win an Ole Miss, and it would probably be cool, right? But it's not like if you won at UF or if you won at LSU. It's just like if you were a baseball pitcher, and yeah, it'd be cool to win a World Series with the Marlins, but it's different when you win one with like the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Red Sox. It's a little different, So,
or just knowing that you're going to be consistently
right
in the mix. Like, yeah, okay, I won one in Mississippi, but I know I probably won't win one for another 10, 12 years. But to be consistently in the mix, like
for sure.
at Georgia with the Kirby, you consistently, that's a different feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
The young man who, the quarterback there, that was kind of by chance. You know what I'm saying? Division II,
okay.
You know what I mean? Backup. Maybe he's like, I wanted to go grab some other guy. I wanted to grab the young man from Georgia, but he wasn't coming to Mississippi, or we didn't have the money for Mississippi. So I kind of stumbled upon this other young man. You know what I'm saying? Who knows if it works out this way for me? You know what I mean? So just those type of situations, I think Lane kind of looks at and say, hey, I might. It may be greener over there.
No, I agree. The other thing that I was going to add into is kind of like what I had mentioned before. I know is I really think some of these schools are. That's kind of why I made the comment about James Franklin, is because I just think some of these schools are willing to swing for the fences.
Yeah.
And I just think if you are Lane, and I'm not saying that Lane Kiffin's is like, but I'm just saying, but I'm talking like money now. And I'm talking like if that's what it really came down to, and like Lane Kiffin's agent was like, hey, listen, like Ole Miss is willing to go like $2 more million on his salary. I just feel like LSU and you have to be like, oh, really? Well, we're gonna go for it.
The package deal that supposedly that y'all put out, y'all was gonna make him the highest paid coach in college football.
Right. See what I mean? So like, and that's why it's like, and that's one of those things where like, if you're Kiffin, and again, I understand that you built up a program, you probably would be taking a lot of kids.
That's
but
type of information right there, right there.
But like, how do you say no to that? Like, you're about to be paid as one of the highest coaches for one of the like biggest programs in college that hasn't been good and like is starving to be good. Like, you would be if he at minimum got the Gators to like a championship game or like was one of the last 4 teams standing, he would be able to walk around that campus and with like godlike ability for like at least that season. You know what I mean?
Listen, if the information leaks that he's going to be the highest paid coach, listen, Mrs. Kiffin is going to make the decision. It's over with.
Oh yeah,
no state taxes either. It's over with. Get me up out of here. I'm out of here.
Here's me playing devil's advocate.
Here it goes. She's gonna shatter my dreams again. Twice. Twice.
But no, I'm just playing devil's advocate because let's be real. When you have a historic program like Florida, I mean, this team was very popular and stayed consistent when it came down to the Tim Tebow era. They were winning championships. They were being consistent. Even when the Spurrier era was there, they were doing the same thing. So when you sit over here and look at a historic program like Florida, the winning, in my honest opinion, is pushed a little bit more, and that kind of pulls that string and that rope a little bit tighter on those coaches compared to Ole Miss. When you're looking at it, Ole Miss hasn't been there.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the leash is a little bit longer at Ole Miss than, in my opinion, than I think that when it comes down to like a Florida or LSU. Because come on, LSU and Alabama used to go back and forth so much that we were used to it. So now we're not used to seeing an LSU like this.
But with that, you know what I'm saying? That leash being a little bit longer and basically talking about expectation. The expectation is a little bit lower, if you will, at Mississippi. The resources may be greater at the other schools. Yes, the expectation is greater, but my reach is greater. I got more donorship is greater. The sponsorship outside of the salary cap, if you will, of NIL, that network outside of that is greater. My resources is greater. Folks wanting to come here and be a part of this legacy is greater at a Florida and a LSU. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? To whom much is given, much is expected. But a lot of times, hey, what you've given me to work with is so much more. I can really put this together. You know what I mean? So,
and also to that point too, like, and again, it's understood, but there's a part of me that would also, if I was one of these coaches, I mean, it could just be my competitive nature, but I would want my coach to have a little bit of that competitive spirit. Like I wouldn't like if I was trying to go after like 2 coaches and I'm really like trying to pick between 2 of them, one of them was like wishy-washy, and the reason they were is because they were a little nervous of like the expectations, I would immediately go with the other guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like at that point in time, you're already telling me like you kind of don't have like I want some fire in your belly, man. Like, yeah, of course you have expectations. Look what we're paying you. Look where you're coming to. But I get it. And Lane, we'll use him since we're talking about him, he could be to the point where he's like, you know what, I kind of want that longer leash. Like I'm just gonna kind of string this along, and once I get Ole Miss in the corner where I want them, I'll just get them to pay me. That might be how he feels. But just an overall point, I would hope that you'd have the look.
That's not. Yeah, you would just hope that's not the case. But you'll be surprised how.
Listen, all right. I'm trying not to say it, but I'm saying it.
Since you brought us there, though, that's a key part. Since you brought us there, because I do want to talk about the curveballs possibly, or if basically we have a overture of jobs, if you will, and the shortage of, I don't want to say quality coaches, but name brand coaches. So we talked about Lane, and if he goes to one job and or stays in his current job, then what happens with the other coaches and other jobs and the coaches that leave? Say to me, and I don't know their names per se, and I forgive them, but the coaches at Texas A&M, Georgia Tech, and Vanderbilt kind of stand out. They've got their programs kind of playing out of. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Go ahead.
No, Georgia Tech's OC is already on people's radar because I know some people have been saying that coming from the Kirby tree because they're seeing what Brown is doing up there at Syracuse,
Yeah,
but they're
Syracuse
looking
and
at
Brown.
and then even with Dan Lanning doing over there at Oregon, Schumann might be next. So we don't know. We might have a coach, but some people are saying that he probably, with this defense that he put on display this year, he might have talked himself out of a head coaching job. But who knows? He might still get picked with that because you're coming from Kirby Smart, who came from Nick Saban. So, but yes, the OC for Georgia Tech is on people's right. I mean, even Brent Key. Some people want Brent Key to leave his alma mater and go and coach somewhere else. So. Coach from Texas A&M. They want to poach him from Texas A&M. Yep. So
I think him and the Vanderbilt coach might get poached.
I don't think he wants to leave Vanderbilt.
No, I'm not. Again, so sometimes in those situations, like to me, I say that, but like I'm just one of those guys that money talks.
No, and I do agree. I agree with that. I just don't. The thing is, 2 years in a row. Yes, you put Vandy on the spot, but in my honest opinion, it goes back to my question: how tight do you want to be strapped to your chair? Do you want to be able to get up and leave when you want, or do you want to just sit there and be strapped because it's gonna come with expectations?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a very good point. It's a very good point.
We talk about those 3 or 4 names or those 3 or 4 coaches from those schools, and I bring a full circle. Would you rather have one of those coaches from your school or a Brian Kelly or James Franklin if you're one of these higher profile programs?
No, I mean,
you're gonna want the vet.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking just for Florida purposes, I would like if I was the AD trying to hire this guy, I wouldn't be looking at Franklin or Kelly. I wouldn't mind Kiffin. There's other guys we've mentioned. Maybe look around a little bit at the NFL.
Say Kiffin's out the picture for you. Kiffin's out the picture.
All right. Well, like then I would still go look at the whole Lanning situation. I would still poke around and see what's going on. Maybe look at the NFL a little bit. Maybe see if there's a coordinator in the NFL. Maybe really sit down with Gruden and see how badly he wants to get back into coaching. See if that's even a real possibility.
He said he wants to coach in the SEC too.
Like I would.
Old man Gruden.
Yeah, like
he came to Georgia and said he wouldn't mind like coaching in the SEC.
Yeah, like when I say I would cast a wide net, I don't mean like cast a wide net. Like I'm trying.
Old man Gruden ain't trying. He ain't about no recruiting life no more. He over with. That's over with.
No, I know. That's why it would probably be a tough one, but I mean, it's going to be interesting. I've been thinking about it for sure. And I don't want the Gators to get into a situation where like they wait. And then they have to pick somebody who doesn't really have like a decent track record.
But so my question is about waiting, because that's how we got here is the waiting.
Yeah. The waiting game can be tough. I mean, that's the part that. But like, because like there's two folds to it, right? Because like you also sometimes don't always want to rush into it. Because what if like just like what if something happens, like what if like you didn't see it happening, and then like what if for whatever reason loses their last 3 of the last 4 games, and they're like, Cristobal, we appreciate it, like I'm just a random thing, like sometimes right, and I'm just saying, so like then you don't want to wait, and then you're hiring like some OC who has no head coaching experience, and you're hoping for the best. So.
And see, that's kind of the tug of war that some of these top programs are actually playing right now, because LSU, for example, you went after the vet. Y'all poached Kelly from Notre Dame. Y'all poached him from Notre Dame. We already know Kelly's record when it came down to Notre Dame. We already knew it was going to follow him to LSU. So when we're looking at this situation, can we say that LSU wanted to take the vet guy and thinking that Brian Kelly was going to come down there and change the program around for him, when we know for a fact what we saw at Notre Dame? I don't know what they saw, but I know what I saw at Notre Dame.
Well, I will say this. I will give LSU, shoot them some bail. Brian Kelly had taken that Notre Dame team, to a national championship. He had rebuilt that team. And his selling point was because of the academic, restrictions that I have here, I can't recruit the type of athlete consistently to win a national championship. So if you give me the keys to your kingdom, LSU, where all that wonderful Southern talent is, where all the Odells are, where all, you know what I'm saying, all this great talent. You give me the keys to your castle, to your car, I can get you to the promised land. And it made sense because he was just there. It made sense. But when he got there, I mean, he wasn't a good fit. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna push back on that he can't get the talent to come in to Notre Dame because folks don't realize this. You have private schools in some of these conferences. Vandy is a private school. Mm-hmm. Yes, they have their requirements. I know they can skew them a little bit when it comes down to the athletics to get them in. You have TCU. That's another private school out there in the Big 12. They can skew their requirements to get in. It ain't that TCU don't have that hard much qualification for them to come in anyway, but SMU do. And I'm not going to lie to you. SMU got them South Dallas boys. They got them boys coming out of Duncanville, DeSoto, Cedar Hill, Lancaster. You got them who probably teeter-totter in low 3.0s and different things like that coming into SMU. So if SMU, TCU, Vandy can get this talent, what was really the excuse with Notre Dame?
I don't think Brian was lying. He couldn't get him. Marcus Freeman can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Vandy, whoever the previous coaches were at Vandy, they couldn't get him, but whoever the new coach, he can. So, you know, he didn't lie.
He was one of those coaches and he had the squad. Vandy was coming through. This is not the first time we've seen Vandy come through and wreck some stuff.
But it takes some time, and to that point, though, it's not consistent. We don't know how. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember very much of Mr. Franklin at Vandy myself because I was a Northern. They wasn't making noise like they making now. You know what I mean? And again, they
Vandy beat us. This is when targeting was what first got involved with it, and this is when
I remember seeing Vandy in the top 10 under Franklin. Maybe I'm wrong.
No. They weren't in the top 10, but I think the highest they got was like 15 or so because they were winning. And Snuds can tell you they were winning in the SEC when they had James Franklin. It just as soon as that Penn State job opened, he took off. Boom, Vandy went back to being Vandy. Mm-hmm. So I mean, look, at this point in time. It's going to be a good off season when it comes down to seeing all of this. I'm definitely going to be watching out for Florida since Florida is now our every year opponent and we got to play them every year. I am definitely going to be watching out for who they got on their coaching staff because I was sad when they let Billy Napier go. I was sad. But we got them this weekend, so we'll see. Yeah, we do. It's a big game
this weekend.
Big game, the world largest cocktail party, but they don't call it that no more. But yeah, the world largest cocktail party is what they used to call it. But no, let's get into these college football eliminator games. We got 2 games this week that are actually going to be our elimination games with everything. So what's going to happen is we have Vandy versus Texas. Vandy does go to Texas. Vandy is 7-1. Texas is 6-2. Texas cannot lose another game, or they'll be out of. Well, they're technically already out of contention for the SEC championship. Now they're trying to get into the CFP playoffs. That can knock them out because they're already 6-2. And then we have OU versus Tennessee. Yes, this is a SEC slate. This is going to bring in and see if a group of 5 team can come in and sneak in. One less SEC team means there's an open spot for another group of 5 teams. So OU 6-2, Tennessee 6-2. OU is making that trip over there to good old Rocky Top. So we're going to see. Snugs, what do you think about these 2 games, these games as eliminator games going into these last couple of weeks of college football?
For the first game, I think Vanderbilt's going to blow them out.
Ooh. At home?
I think Vanderbilt is going to blow Texas out. Yep. I'm a couple games away, so that means a couple shows away from making some bold predictions on Vanderbilt. So let's see if it plays out here. But yeah, I think they're going to win. The other game, man, I feel like I would probably. No, I'm gonna go Oklahoma. I'm gonna go Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Oklahoma.
Okay, Oklahoma. I mean, Tennessee has an okay defense. We'll see. John Mateer hasn't looked too good. I think that thumb is really kind of bothering him. And the defense is kind of sleepwalking in these games a little bit. So definitely gonna see about that and see how well. And I'll be honest, as you know, Snugs, Rocky Top is not an easy place to play.
I know that's why I had the hesitation, but
it's not. I don't like that song.
It's not. No, it's not. I know it's not. I went there once for a game. It's a pretty crazy experience too.
Oh, look, I'm still trying to figure out how they really get that coordination with the checkerboards going and different things like that. It's kind of crazy, I'll be honest. But go ahead, see him. What do you got for these two games?
I think I'm going with Vandy too, man. I'm voting for the smart guys, the guys who aren't normally here. I'm voting for them. I just haven't really been, that really impressed with Texas in these big time moments. And Archie, I think he had like some type of injury or something last week.
Concussion.
So is he going to be all the way there? What time is this game? It's a 12 noon game, early game.
That sucks.
I'm going with Vanderbilt. I'm going with Vanderbilt in this. As far as OU and Tennessee, I'm not a big fan of the Tennessee coach. Again, he lets me down in these big moments, but I have been impressed with their offense. I will say this: John Mateer has not looked the same since he's come back from that injury. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma, but I got a bad feeling about it. It's not gonna be a part of any of my parlays. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh yeah, no.
Well, I was getting ready. I was getting ready to say I don't think you want to put money on any of these games because
I will say this though:
a 3-point favorite. I'll be honest. I will definitely take the over on the points on this one. I definitely will take that.
Oklahoma, you'll take the over?
No, Vandy and Texas.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I might take the under. I think it's 55, and I'm looking at it right now, 55.5 on the Oklahoma and Tennessee game. I might take the under on there because Oklahoma's look kind of shaky.
I'm gonna take the under on Oklahoma because Tennessee is only 2.5-point favorite. So definitely going with that because them defenses are gonna play.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, look again. Like I said before, I'm gonna repeat. Yes, these are SEC games, but you can have some of these schools in the group of 5. Like I said, shout out to the University of North Texas. I am rooting for you, even though I do not like y'all because y'all beat us in basketball, and I can't stand it because every time y'all always beat us in basketball. Yes, I went to the University of Texas.
Backhanded comments. I'm rooting for y'all, but I can't stand y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't stand y'all. Look, it's because I went to the University of Texas at Arlington, and no, I do not represent my school like that. We are the Mavericks.
You don't like them either.
Yeah, I
look, I don't like them either. But I'm a part of the system because that's where both of my degrees came from, unfortunately. But UNT always whooped our tails when it came down to basketball, especially our men's basketball. So I can root for y'all right now because I respect a small school like that in Denton, Texas. Not really a big powerhouse in recruiting. Their quarterback is a walk-on quarterback who just said, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna walk on the team. So I'm always rooting for the underdog. So shout out to UNT. Beat Navy because also I don't like the seamen anyway. Shout out to the Army. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I was just to say, it's not easy being, a dual champion in football and basketball at a school. It's not for everybody. Only some schools can pull it.
You know what? See, I know we play y'all on Saturday, but you're not gonna dog my boys' basketball team like that. Georgia's not a basketball school. We just now.
I know.
Look, it's Florida Hate Week. It's Florida Georgia Hate Week. That's
definitely. It's still to this day. I went when in the Jacksonville. Still to this day, that's the best tailgate that I've ever been to for football ever.
The world's largest outdoor cocktail party is real.
It was just literally an experience. There's no other word to use for it. It's just it's an experience.
Yeah, you gotta come down, see him. Just don't wear anything from up north.
It's awesome.
What do you mean? Anything from up north? Like what? Like what? Give me an example.
Don't wear no Michigan stuff. We don't like y'all down here.
Oh yeah. I mean, hey, but you'll get less comments if you do, like if you walk in with like another SEC school, like especially a big one, or like an FSU shirt, you'll definitely get some comments, man. Not good ones. Not good
ones. I gotta be either Georgia or Florida.
I mean, if you want to play it safe.
Okay. Look, all right. I'm about to come out there with some HBCU gear on there. I'm about to come out. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Just come out there with FAMU. They'll love you the same.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, we love the
I'll tell you this. The last time Michigan, came to Florida, the school with the G on there sent them packing back up north. All right, so let's move on to the NFL.
We always want to talk about old stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, listen, we got a natty and a basketball championship too. I just want to let you know, you only want what I want on here, E.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you do. That's right.
Georgia is not a basketball school.
I'm just letting you know.
That's all right.
You all around it.
We do baseball too, but I don't want to brag. Let's go to the NFL.
We do that.
I think we got one in soccer and swimming, but now we're just getting silly. So now we're good.
Now he said, now we just getting silly. I quit. All right, let's do a pulse check on our NFL teams as we're going in. Shout out to J Mick. He is not here. My Falcons do play the Patriots up there in Boston. But shout out to J Mick. He is down there in H-Town, chilling in the big state of Texas. But Snugs, let's go first because you started off this season with injuries.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are almost back to being 100%. So give us an update of what them 49ers are doing over there on the West Coast.
Yes, we are definitely trending in that way. I mean, as 100% as we can be because there's obviously a couple of guys, unfortunately, like Warner and Bosa who, won't be, unfortunately, able to come back. Yes, we are. Lynch and Kyle both pretty much said today that Ricky and Brock are pretty much expected back in week 10. So that's good. We're getting back one of our defensive linemen, Gross Matos, is coming back for this game. And some other guys that had to leave the last game early in the Texans game. They're all back and they practiced today, so they're all going to be playing. Slowly but surely, we're definitely getting there. Just trying to turn along. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw, we made that trade for that lineman from the Patriots. There's rumors trying to make another one. I don't think it'll be.
I like that Keon White move. I like that.
Yeah. Like I think, listen, man, the trade reminds me a lot of when we traded for Charles Omenihu when he was still on the Texans. They're kind of the same kind of guy, can both play inside, outside. Kind of like that little longer athletic build, stronger than probably they look. Because they're a little bit like on the taller side. But yeah, man. I mean, listen, he wasn't playing in New England. We have a pretty good D-line coach. We have these stories where we've kind of like made guys into a little more than they probably are. So hopefully we can get something out of him. But I agree. I mean, listen, he led the Patriots in pressures last year, had 5 sacks. You can't just.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm kind of surprised he kind of fell out of favor up there because he's a relatively young kid in his third year, maybe.
Yeah. That's it, man. Yeah, that's the thing too. So we still have him under contract for next year. So it's like, yeah, man. So we'll see what happens. I expect another move. Think of more players like an Arden Key from the Titans. Like that's a name to kind of look at. I also saw we were looking at Greenyard from the Vikings, but I think that's kind of a long shot. But we're trending in the right direction.
Y'all don't need Greenyard, yo. Y'all don't need Greenyard from.
I would love to get him, man.
No, y'all don't need him. What's going on?
We're trending in the right direction. We have this game against the Giants on MetLife, so knock on wood. But hopefully we can get there in weeks 10 to 18. We can make some noise, make a push.
All right. 49ers are trying to make their way back to the playoffs. Update us on your Detroit Lions because y'all are leading the group right now.
No, actually, got to give Green Bay their props. They're 5-1-1, so they are actually leading the division. They have the tie.
That tie kind of okay.
Yeah, that tie is helping them out a little bit. So we're in second in the division right now. We're coming off the bye week. We're definitely getting a lot healthier. Hearing that Terrion Arnold has participated in practice today. DJ Reed is doing work off to the side. Didn't get into practice, but is doing work off on the side. So hopefully he's going to be back. He's going, I think, into his second or third week on IR. We got Aleem McNeil back last week. So we're getting healthy. Malcolm Rodriguez, a guy who's been like an extra backup backer for us and also played key role on our special teams, is back to practice this week. So just trying to get healthy and kind of continue the positive momentum into the second half of the season. Playing Minnesota this week. So, and then we got the Commanders next week. So it's going to be a very, very, very competitive part of the schedule. And I think Philly is after that. So these next 3 weeks are going to be important for us.
Big stretch.
So, but I'm kind of upset that you didn't talk about the big news with one of your defensive.
Oh, I'm sorry, Aiden got paid.
Oh,
yes,
yes,
he did.
Yeah, well deserved, man.
He skipped over that.
Well deserved. He's a good football player, Sheehan. Well deserved. He's a good guy, man. He deserves that.
$180
was that the money that you were looking for? That you were kind of in the ballpark of that they were probably going to pay him?
You know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. My numbers are probably based off of last year, so I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't expect 45 per, but as the numbers kind of jumped up, I mean, it is what it is. He didn't become the number one guy in terms of per year, but he got the most guaranteed with 141 million. And again, this doesn't actually kick in until 27. Because he's going to actually play on that 5th-year option, so that gives us again some of that flexibility to kind of get some guys signed. And we've got some guys coming up. The key guys who are next on that list should be Brian Branch and Sam Laporta. They were second-round picks in what draft was that? 23 maybe or 20? Yeah, 23.
I think so.
They're extension eligible this summer. And I think both of those guys are guys that we need to get done. But I think what's going to be key is if we have some turnovers in some of our veterans. If we lose a guy like Anzalone, who's in the last year of his deal, a guy like Glasgow, who's in the last year of his deal. If we hopefully win the Super Bowl and Taylor Decker, decides to retire, that is going to greatly aid us in a couple of these young guys. Because then after those two guys, we got Jameer Gibbs and Jack Campbell who come up. We got a little bit of flexibility with them, because they're going into their 4th year and they were both first-round picks. So we have that 5th-year option. So we got a little bit of flexibility. Thank you for bringing me that, that up. I mean, I just become so, so used to Brad doing Brad-like things. It was just like routine. We signed another young boy,
This guy.
Thank you so much, Brad. Brad, keep doing what you're doing, baby.
This guy.
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
See, Hannah, I was going to say, like, if something comes up, like Branch isn't really feeling it, like we could throw you like a second and a fourth, and he can come over to the Bay, man.
We need Branch. Man. We need Branch.
I love that guy
I think Brad is going to work it out, man. I think Brad is going to work it out.
No, you guys definitely will, for sure.
We got a better chance of signing these guys and probably living the next 3 or 4 years strictly out of the draft than probably letting one walk and trying to, But you never know. You never know how the market changes and what these guys may want. Some guys just may want to change the scenery, may want to ball more. Depends on how it is. But he's been doing a great job of being proactive and signing these guys early. So hopefully, he gets 1 or 2 more done.
Oh, well, we'll see. The Falcons are being the Falcons. All right, cool beans.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Losing parlays and all. That damn.
No, I said Falcons are being the Falcons. We ain't even really got to discuss them. No, half the fan base want Ra and Zach gone.
I see that on the timeline.
Yep.
Now this is
Kirk Cousins wants out.
Second year for them for Raheem.
Yep.
So already asking for his head, bro.
They've been asking for his head since last year. It just now got pretty much amplified where they're willing to walk him out the door personally. Kirk Cousins said that he wants to go to a team where he can play QB1. He doesn't want to be here anymore. He is more than willing to waive that trade clause for that. We have injuries. We don't have a wide receiver. They got rid of Ray, and now that left us with Casey Washington. Now Casey Washington is hurt. We still ain't got no wide receiver. Don't know if we'll get a wide receiver before the trade deadline. And we're just the Falcons. All right, cool beans. All right, that's all you can say. That's all you can say at this point. People are ready to give up the season. So yeah,
don't give up. It's still early. Don't give up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? From ATL to Washington,
anything can happen.
Don't give up. It's still early.
Especially in your division, anything can happen.
At this point, like I said, the Panthers should be coming on their little skirt, and we hoping that they're gonna skirt on back on somewhere else. Then that can give us. we gonna hope and pray. But let's talk about the biggest surprise with some of these teams and the disappointment. I'll go first. My Falcons are a huge disappointment. My biggest surprise is legitimately the Colts, and we got to play them over in freaking London after we play the Patriots. So, yeah, go ahead, Snook.
No, I mean, obviously, I mean, I think it's hard not to say the Colts is like one of the biggest surprises. I still think a little bit of I mean, I know Baltimore had an injury with Lamar, but I still think just the way their season started. I mean, they're a little bit kind of like semi getting it back on track. Maybe tonight will even help even more. But I still think this game could be a little weird. You know, it is still Lamar's first game back, but I'm trying to like maybe think of like another surprise. You know, where it's like I thought, you know what, I'll pick a team, more of a player. I thought I was going to see a little more from Caleb in year 2. Caleb Williams and the Bears. I thought I was, and you know, and I'm glad I brought them up because I actually just did. I was just looking at some games like playbacks, and the Chicago one was one of them. So I'm glad I kind of my memory got me there. They would be a team that I mentioned. So I know we said the Colts, but so they would be my surprise team. I know it's not like, oh my God, they're not like only 1 or 2 wins or anything like that. But there's a lot of things on tape with him that I just thought we'd be in a different spot, you know, with him and with getting Ben Johnson there and stuff like that. So, and I don't think it's really so much the coaching, because you can step back and watch some of that tape, and there's some guys that are open. So they would be my disappointment.
Is this a surprise or is this a disappointment? I'm confused. Like which?
No. I'm having them as I'm having them as my disappointment.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, my surprise would still be the Colts. I mean, listen, I thought the Colts start was hot, and I thought it was good. I think we've all known Jonathan Taylor's always been a really good football player, but I mean, guys, the way they're winning games, like I'm pretty sure, and I'm not quoting ironclad, but they are or they're like one of the highest scoring teams in the fourth quarter. So like they're not stopping as the game goes on. Like it's just like they're just like, so they're like literally definition of a machine right now. Yeah, so I'm surprised by that going into 9 weeks that they're still kind of on this like, you know, machine like run that they are.
Yeah, I'm definitely the Colts are definitely the NFL's biggest surprise, but I wanted to go a little bit different. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna represent Jay Mick since he is here. I'm gonna go with the Patriots.
Patriots, okay.
6-2, leading their division surprisingly, and then with Drake May. I mean, he's playing out of his mind. I wasn't quite sold on him coming out of college. Wasn't sold on the offense that he played in, but he's definitely taken probably the biggest step of all the quarterbacks who were drafted last year. So I'm definitely surprised at them. Disappointment is probably with the Ravens. I know they've been kind of beat up a little bit, but that defense, when I think about the Ravens, I just think about a very, very, very gritty and very, very stout defense, and that defense was nowhere evident, even with Lamar there, and they have been dealing with Lamar. And for them just to look at their schedule, I mean, their record right now at 2-5 is just kind of crazy to me, especially in a division that's not, you don't have Deshaun Watson over there as the quarterback. You don't have Burrow in that division as well. So 2-5 for me is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with the Bears, and I want to kind of go back to the Bears because they do have Ben Johnson. They went out this offseason, picked up a lot of offensive linemen to help that line and give them a little bit more help. Their defense is pretty good. It's not the highest defense, but it's not the lowest. It gets the job done. But when we're talking about Caleb Williams, a person that a lot of people did expect to see some things coming from him, I don't even, people say, it could be a sophomore. I don't think it's a sophomore slump. I just don't think he's transitioning too good to the NFL from college. I just like you said, when watching the tape, there are guys open. He is leaving a lot of people wide open. I'm not sure if he's processing the field or if he's only sticking and going to, that first or second progression. He's not going through the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, So it is a disappointment because he was the number one player. But in the same token, it's like you have a offensive guru that is giving it all to you, and it's almost kind of like you kind of just stuck. He leaves you with a question mark because you don't know. You don't know if this is just, second year bad mojo, little juju going on, or if this is what we're going to see in year 3, 4, and 5. Because then I'm not.
I mean, listen, I can say when I watch his tape, right? And so let me say this, right? And what I'm about to say, I mean this in a good way, not about him. Mm-hmm. What you see from a lot of quarterbacks that you would consider to be good, even some of the greats, right? I'm going to use the word they're boring. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Because they are so consistent with their footwork, with where they go with the ball, with reading of the field, that it's just a rep after a rep after a rep. When I put on his tape, you might get 2 or 3 reps like that. You might be lucky and get 2 or 3 drives like that. But then it reverts right back to, I want to hold the ball. I want to run around a little bit. I want to make this splashy play. His feet not set. So it's just, for me, the word consistency is it's not, because like I said, I don't feel it's the coaching. They are a lot cleaner on offense than they were under Eberflus last year. You can't even really argue that, right? But it's just the consistency there with the preparation, like you even said, reading of the field, knowing what a defense is, knowing when to check in and out of stuff. Like that stuff too, unless you're a super football person, that's why I said it's boring. Like that's not the stuff that a fan is going to buy their ticket for. I get it. But that's the stuff that eventually gets you to that point where you're in those conversations. And that's just where that disconnect is. And you can see sometimes in games with Ben Johnson's face of frustration, because that's all it is. If he just would have had his feet a little bit more set, would have just a little bit more through on that motion of that ball, or went to the first guy that he saw and not waited for the third guy, probably would have had a completion. And so that's what I see the most out of him, or what I don't see, I should say.
I think that both you guys raised some great points, and I think a lot of what you're saying is definitely true. And part of the reason I was confused when you were saying it earlier was because, I'm not going to lie to you, I think that both things can be true. I think that when we look at him and what he was in college and what we heard he was supposed to be, us as fans and even analysts, they throw this generational word and this around and franchise quarterback thing around so loosely that we just kind of put it on everyone. And he was, king of college, if you will. The guy only won 6-7 games, it seemed like every year, you know what I mean? But I think that sometimes less is more. I think when you see him play, it's always some kind of like breakneck street ball type of play where he's trying to make some type of Sports Center highlight 60 plays a game, and you don't need that. And like you said, boring a lot of times is efficient and better. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, those guys are considered boring, but they are efficient and better with the ball. And I think that he's gotten better and cleaner in some of those ways. But I think that Ben is having to totally break this guy down. Totally break this guy down.
I think the Decepticons got you.
Yeah, we're losing you.
Yeah, we lost you. I think the Decepticons got you.
And building back up until the image. Talk about him. He does a pretty decent job of coaching up quarterbacks, at LSU. So he had a lot of schooling that I don't know if Caleb, really had. And I think that as he gets better, I know, and I think that, Ben has got to do a little bit better job of hiding his frustration, because he's been spoiled, because he had a quarterback who understood how to read the field and make those adjustments, at the line of scrimmage. This guy came pretty much ready-made and has been in that offense for 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? He has the brain of a coach, you know what I'm saying, in some degree. And you've got a guy who, you have to go back to teaching the bare fundamentals of just not your offense, but of football to this guy. And I think it's a little bit, it's pulling both of them, I think, in opposite, ends from time to time, but collectively it's coming together. And what happens when he puts this shit together? You know what I'm saying? If he gets it 75%, 80% right, they got weapons. They're building the defense. I mean, with their 4-3, they're a threat now, and he doesn't know what the hell is going on. So just imagine if he starts to understand what he's seeing. You know what I'm saying? Pre-snap and post-snap.
Sure.
So, yeah, a little bit disappointed, but I ain't gonna lie. I'm looking at them. I'm peeking over there and see what's going on in Chicago, because they close now. They close. They putting something together.
They putting something together, all right, to sit at home at the end of the season.
Well, you got to crawl for you
Let's
walk.
look. I'm just saying. But let's talk about some early MVPs before we get to our picks for this week's slate for the NFL. Who are you guys kind of looking at as far as the early MVPs? Could be top 3, 2, or 1. Go ahead, Snoog.
I mean, if you want to give a top 3, I think being really, really fair based on where we are right now in the season, I think I'll give you 3 in honorable mention. I would go May, Jonathan Taylor, and Daniel Jones. And I think honorable mention, unfortunately, the honorable mention would be Mr. Patrick Mahomes.
You gotta put Patrick in there.
I know it would be, yeah, but I would be right now where we are in the season. I would be a little surprised if one of those 4 probably didn't end up winning. But yeah, I would be a little surprised.
Behan, are you kind of in agreement with him or that? Or are you maybe taking out for 1 or 2?
I'm gonna go my top 2. I think for me it's Patrick Mahomes and Jonathan Taylor. I definitely understand the Daniel Jones love. He's definitely done a great job over there. And I'm not gonna lie, until the last 2 weeks, I was a Baker Mayfield fan as well. But these last 2 weeks been a little shaky.
Yeah.
But Patrick is playing great football, man, and has got Kansas City, right back there as one of the best, if not the best team in football, man. He made a couple plays against us and in this game against the Commanders where I've seen like he had eyes on the back of his head, man. And he's got weapons now, that's not just, Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, not those type of guys, no disrespect, but he's got serious weapons now. We're seeing a step up from him statistically, and he's making it happen. So
yeah, I'm just gonna go with my 1. I'm just gonna do 1. Bijan Robinson. I'm just playing. But no, I'm definitely gonna say Patrick Mahomes. Not to knock off Daniel Jones, Drake May, Jonathan Taylor. I never really, the last running back that I ever seen get the MVP his name was Adrian Peterson. So I'm not sure how well the NFL will do that. Now we're talking about offensive player of the year. Then we can have that conversation about Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, and a couple of other people. But we kind of see where the MVP kind of goes a little bit. So this is not no shot at Drake May, Daniel Jones, even Baker Mayfield. But when you start off 1 and 2, the way the Kansas City Chiefs did in the first 3 games, they got embarrassed in Brazil. That was crazy. Got embarrassed in Brazil, came back, lost again. No, they won and then lost again. And then you got to think Patrick was carrying this team without his wide receivers. Travis Kelce knocked out Xavier Worthy. Okay. Mm-hmm. So again, Patrick, some way, somehow, we laugh about Baker having the voodoo, like he's been in New Orleans. Patrick lives in New Orleans because he's gonna find a way. He's going to find a way. So, like I said, I will be shocked if Pat Mahomes doesn't get it, but I would definitely be happy if a Daniel Jones, a Drake May. Wouldn't be happy about a Baker Mayfield, but I understand. But I'll be happy about the other 2. But I definitely will understand when it comes down to it. But shout out to my KC family. Those are my second cousins on my mama daddy side. But no, let's get to our game picks of the week. We have the Colts versus Steelers, Chiefs versus Bills. No, that is a very exciting game. And then Seattle versus the Commanders. I already know where Stug is going on this one, on that last one. But go ahead. Who are your picks out of those 3 games?
So I'm taking the Colts. There's actually the Chiefs Bills one. I'm actually a little. I really do want to go the Chiefs because I just think probably still going to go, but. I just the Bills play them good in the regular season. They don't play them in the playoffs. But I just think I think the Chiefs have, unfortunately, they have found their groove. Mm-hmm. Deep sigh. And then actually the last one, you're actually going to be a little surprised. If we were to have a segment on teams that I do not think can turn it around and make a run, the Commanders would be on my list. I actually think the Seahawks win that game, unfortunately. I think the Commanders, in my opinion, I think they're staring at 5 to 7 wins.
Ooh. And what I'm about to say, Mr. Mariota from Oregon still playing?
No, I mean Daniels is supposed to, but for me, it goes beyond. Terry McLaurin's out again. I think their defense every single week it gets a little bit more exposed and a little bit more of the age shows. Wagner really can't be on the field on third down, but they don't really have any other linebacker behind him. Like they just it's a lot of their it's really funny because some of their fans were saying this during the offseason that they didn't really love the way that they kind of like built off of this like really miraculous run, under Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels year one. And now that now that's kind of playing out, some of them kind of had the vision because it's just like it doesn't feel like it's there. It feels like they're trying to put like, as the saying goes, like square pegs in a round hole. It just doesn't look like it's working. People in that lineup, there's older players. The defense is like not coached well. I don't like their outcome the rest of the season.
I mean, us Falcon fans tried to tell the Commander fans about Dan Quinn.
A lot of people
go ahead, see.
Jesus.
We tried.
Time. Everybody still got hope.
Yeah, I mean, no, I get it. I'm not saying don't if you're a fan, but I'm just saying, like, they're one of those teams that I didn't pick them to go to the playoffs before the season started. So I'm going to look like a real big genius if they really don't.
Ooh,
so we'll see.
Ooh.
But then again, I picked the Cowboys to win the East, so let's not get too excited.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Okay. We got to come back to that. We're going to come back to that. Okay, real quick. What's the games again? The Colts?
Steelers.
Steelers, Colts. I'm going Colts there. They're
okay.
Like a fine oil machine.
Yep.
I'm going to go Chiefs because I do think they have hit their groove. And something about the Bills this year is not quite. Something's missing there.
Yeah, I hear you. That's why I ultimately
really on the precipice of being a dominant team in the AFC. Something's not there. They got a little bit of what's my man name? Superman. When he was this normal stuff. Clark Kent. They got a little Clark Kent. They look a little.
You want to hear an interesting stat about them this year with Josh Allen? So Josh Allen, on average, every year he would be well over 50%, or basically like 50%. When being pressured, like just on the percentage of like how good the throw would get off and stuff like that, which was good. Like he was one of the highest, not completion, but just like the ability to get like a playoff successful play. Like he was well above 50%, one of the highest in the league. This year, for the first time ever in his career, he's 32% at that when being pressured. Yeah. So like it might not be the sole reason, but there's a little bit of kind of like Josh Allen isn't having one of those like Josh Allen-esque per se years, if you will.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And lastly, Seattle and Washington, I think that's going to be a very, very good game. I think Jaden comes back and makes it extremely competitive. But Seattle's been playing pretty good ball, man. They have to travel, but it is a Sunday night game. Seattle's defense, I think, travels, and I think they win a tight game over Washington. Yeah.
Okay. Seattle. For me, you know what they say when we all pick the same team. You got something magical might happen, and it might not be in a good way. But I got the Colts.
If not in a good way, is it still magical? If it's not in a good way,
it always happens. But Chiefs and Bills. We all know the Bills have the Chiefs number sometime in the regular season. I think they actually kind of put it into that and kind of, shared their dominance. And I do think that this is the game. I'm not going to say that this is the game that seals it, but this is the game that basically pushed the Chiefs where we know that they're more than likely going to be when it comes down to the playoffs. And that's probably to that AFC championship. Unfortunately, because again, we all seen and know this story before. And then again, the Commanders are just not the same Commanders like they were last year. People try to say that JD is going through his sophomore slump, and I just don't think it is. I just don't think. I think now that we have film on him, exactly. Well, I see that too. But now that we have film on JD, and now we kind of understand what. Kingsbury is over there running and kind of have everything. You can find ways to stop them. So I think the NFL caught up to them. with that, and I think they're going to have to probably more than likely go back to the Giant boys. But Sam Darnold showed us last year he knows how to play football. Kind of a little up and down over there in Seattle, but I do believe Sam Darnold still can show that he knows how to play football. So I hate it for you, Snugs, but I'm going Seattle.
I know, it's all right.
With that, I'm going CA. Y'all have enough time to turn it around and win that West.
Oh, for
Everybody
sure.
over there doing damn
We're
good.
the only
Everybody
undefeated team in the
doing good
division.
over
We're
there.
3-0 in the division, so we're okay. We're all right.
Oh yeah, they handle their own.
Yeah. We just gotta stay afloat,
do
man. And of our 3 losses, only one of them's in the conference. So we're not in bad shape. We're not in bad shape. We just gotta stay afloat and hope nothing else happens.
They look, sit pretty. I'm gonna need y'all to sit pretty, but that tied at the path. Y'all gotta spank them now. Y'all gotta get them both tied. That tie that messed y'all up.
That's why they gotta get rid of ties.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Like,
go to the college football until somebody sit over here and make a mistake.
I agree with that. Like I don't know, something. Like even if you want to do keep going back and forth for just 3-minute quarters, but yeah, I just don't. The tie thing, even when you look at the standings, it looks weird.
It does.
Yeah.
I gotta remember. Why they ever us again? But they did beat us though. So
what are we, hockey? Come on now.
We'll see them on Thanksgiving. We'll have some cheese with our turkey.
I don't think that would be a good combination, but don't think that would be a good combination. But we'll make it work. I mean, my food on my plate touches, but I never put the cheese on top of the turkey. But okay. All right, game is started between the Dolphins and the Ravens. Lamar's back on the field officially. So we finna go get out of here. Enjoy the rest of our Thursday. I'm gonna be busy this weekend, but I see y'all next
Thursday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time.
22 all over again.
Yeah,
and it's 21. It's 21. We never left 21.
21. Okay.
Oh, I like that.
We never left 21. I'm gonna start telling people that. Y'all don't tell my age though. But
I got 21.
You. But we'll see y'all guys next week. Enjoy y'all weekend. Happy Halloween to those who celebrate. Make sure them kids don't eat up all that candy and save me some Snickers and Reese's. Because I sure did pick all of those out of my son's Halloween bucket. I sure did. I was that mama. But we'll holler at y'all.